Did you know that we got a new fan this week as well?
A new fan? No.
Yeah, the UK weather. They got so excited about us talking about 42 this week that they just threw a heat wave at the UK. That's how excited they are for us. I know, my intro joke's just getting so good. It's definitely not coming from a place of pain because I'm boiling right now. It's so much fun.
Oh my gosh. I might put a jumper on, mate. I might put a jumper on.
Why did we record this in a heat wave? Oh, you're actually getting... Is that a dressing gown?
Yeah.
That looks suspiciously like the one on my door.
It is the one on your door.
Wait, you've stole it from my room? What?
Huh?
I thought you said you weren't going to fly over here.
Nah, I needed your dressing gown. I didn't say hi.
Oh, you've come over for my birthday. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's what I got you for your birthday. I stole your dressing gown.
I got you -1 dressing gown. Hello and welcome back to Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast, the show where two YouTubers get together and talk about Doctor Who. I'm your host, Troy, also known as Red Archer Live, and with me today is the man who decided he was going to get really dressed up for this show. He's dressed up in his dressing gown. It's Crispy Pro. How are you doing, my good man?
Mate, I am just full of comfort. That's how I am. How are you?
Sweating profusely.
Sweating.
It's like,
Isn't it
I haven't checked my
crazy?
phone. I think it's 30 degrees Celsius right now. It's disgusting. I feel very uncomfortable. Help me, please. Send help. Thank you. Why did we record this during a heat wave?
It's currently 12 degrees Celsius for me. I'm freezing.
I would kill for 12
How am
degrees
I
Celsius.
the Australian?
Honestly, the thing with my room, though, is like my room, I think I've said this to you before privately, my room is like a different climate to the rest of my house.
Yes.
So like you'll go downstairs, like in the living room, like I like watch TV with my mum. We watched an episode of TV earlier. We watched Code 404. It's a drama in the UK. If anyone watches that, they get our respect. It's a good little police
Nice.
comedy. I like it. I've got a laser screwdriver in my hand and I'm fiddling with it because I'm nervous, apparently. I don't know. But like just watching an episode of TV down there, like it was a heat wave, but it felt okay. And then as soon as I started going up the stairs towards my room, I was like, okay, now we're entering the Sahara, let's go. So, it's not even the tech, it's always been like this in this room. Like, I never used to
Weird.
sleep in this room, and like my nan used to sleep in here, and it was still hot when she was in here. Like, just having my tech on makes it worse, you know? So, we're
Damn.
living our best life, as they say. Living our best life.
Sweaty boy. Sweaty
But
boy.
today, folks, we're going to be discussing Doctor Who Series 3. And the ironic thing is, we've been on call for an hour talking about what we're doing for different podcast episodes. We've not even discussed how we're structuring this one. This is going to be very,
No.
you know,
It's on the
talking
fly,
about
baby.
Series 3 generally, which we do with these episodes. You know, we just kind of talk about our favourite, maybe least favourite things about the seasons and just see what we think are the best, worst elements, best episodes, best characters, that kind of thing. Before we do that, we have got some news. But before we do even
We do.
that, we want to thank you, do we not?
Oh, yeah.
We want to thank our listeners
We
because
need to thank them.
episode 20 did
My goodness.
unnaturally well. Like, we
Wow.
live streamed it for the record because obviously this is the first time we can talk about it because episode 20, even on audio platforms, was still at live recording. We streamed that just over 3 days ago for us. We're recording this episode 6 days early because we're both going on holiday this week. You know, you're going
Yeah.
to Sydney and I'm going to lovely exotic Newcastle.
They're the same thing. They're the same thing.
It is. But I will have met Pale Waves by the time this goes out. So
Yeah.
that is exciting.
Well, have you seen the Opera House? Because that's what I'm seeing, bro.
Have you met Heather Baron Gracie? No, you haven't.
Yeah, but have you met
My mother?
Kylie Minogue?
How I Met Your Mother. Dun dun dun
How I
dun
Met-
dun 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 dun. We're going off topic already. So yeah, so
Sorry.
we're recording it a bit ahead of time. But the live stream was about 3 days ago for us, and it went down very, very well. We had more people watching
So
than I
well.
normally get on Twitch, which was crazy. I just looked at it, was like, oh, we've got a peak of 50 people right now. That's kind of crazy.
It was very
But in
nice.
terms
Thank
of like
you,
YouTube
everyone.
stats, it's done phenomenally well, better than most episodes in recent memory. The sad thing is YouTube doesn't, it does the 1 of 10 system, and it's like, this video's doing better than the previous 10.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that for live episodes. It doesn't count it.
won't show
'cause
it,
It's like
yeah.
not an actual upload, so it won't show. But we know it's 1 of 10 because of how well it's done. So it's like a nice little personal satisfaction thing.
done
So we've
gangbusters.
talked about it. Our goal right now is to try and do 1 live episode a month. And what we've kind of been lobbying at the minute is that we're going to do the first recording we do each month. We're going to try and do it live unless there's some kind of scheduling thing. So we want to do it at the right time, like the time these
Yeah.
episodes normally go out on, whatever day it might be, like Thursday. So we'll work it out, but it'll roughly be the first recording of the month. And we'll let you all know via YouTube and Twitter, all the usual contacts. You'll know ahead of time.
Yeah.
We'll schedule it as soon as we can. I mean, we would have scheduled a live stream sooner last week, Except, like, the way that worked was I went to set up the stream and YouTube went, this is your first time streaming. You have to wait 24 hours to set this up. And I was like, thanks for that. Thanks very much, YouTube.
Appreciate that one.
But as a result, we often talk about our poll every week and getting everyone's thoughts on the topic we're talking about. Now that we've got 500 subs, we have the YouTube community tab, which is a new place we can put polls up and ask you all what you're thinking. And good golly, have you lot put the Spotify users, not to shame, but you've one-upped them, because the Spotify polls, if it gets 30 votes, it's kind of crazy. In 2 days, roughly 2 days, might be a little bit less to be honest, the YouTube version of the poll has received 73 votes. I'm just going to refresh in case it's gone any higher. Has it gone to 74? No, still 73. But that's more than double what we get on Spotify.
It's ridiculous.
So what we're going to do for the poll this week is read out the audio and YouTube versions. What I might do if I've got the time down the line is try and combine them into their own poll if I can work it out, mathematically, push his glasses up forehead. Because it would be nice to do that as like a big overall poll, but it might be a bit of effort. We'll see. But let's talk about the poll. And the question was something we discussed during the live episode, which was, do you prefer watching Doctor Who on a Saturday or a Sunday? Or should I say prefer it airing on a Saturday or Sunday, typically? The options were Saturday, Sunday, or either, because I realised that some people might not care either way, and they just kind of think, as long as we're getting Doctor Who cares when we're getting it, Saturday or Sunday? Where do you stand on this argument before we get into the poll, Crispy?
Well, as I said on the live stream, I'm so used to having Doctor Who on a Sunday because it airs on a Saturday in the UK. And so usually if it were to be like live simulcast in Australia, we'd get the episodes at around 6 a.m. Sundays. But when Chris Chibnall, not just Chris Chibnall, when Series 11 and Series 12 and Series 13
it's all Chibnall's fault.
It's not Chibnall's fault. Oh, no, I can't jump on that bandwagon. But when the modern, the newer era, Jodie's era, decided to go to Sundays, we got them on Monday mornings here in Australia, which is not an ideal time to get a Doctor Who episode because I'm going to work and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm of the belief, from my own perspective, that I would like it on a Saturday so that I can get it on a Sunday here in Australia. But I've never experienced Doctor Who on a Saturday, so I don't know what that's like.
What you could do, disconnect yourself from the internet for 6 days and then watch last week's episode on the Saturday night and then see how it feels, Be good for 2 parts, because then you could stay up till Sunday morning and watch the second part. Might be a trouble with YouTube uploads then, though. Taking 6 days to talk about your thoughts on an episode might not be great for the algorithm,
It's alright, wouldn't be the first time I've done that, mate.
It's true. How many Flux reviews did you do? Yeah, that's a good point.
I did 3.
Actually, didn't you say you were doing a Flux essay? I was watching a load of your old uploads the other week because I'm such a lovely person. And you mentioned a Flux video essay. Mm-hmm. Where's that at?
It's in the scripting phase. No, I kind of morphed it into the ranking tier list video. But anyway.
Gotcha. I want to hear a Crispy video essay. That's sad.
I've got a good one on Blink if you want. That stars...
Do it. Make it.
The guy that... No, I've got one. I've got it. It's really good.
Wait, what?
It's probably one of...
Oh, you already put it up?
I've got a video essay on Blink. It's probably one of my proudest
I'll go and listen
uploads.
to it. I'm going to go and watch it right now. Okay, forget the recording. I'm going to go watch it right now. Okay. No. I personally prefer it on a Saturday, but I also have quite liked it on a Sunday because it's nicer. If you're out on a Saturday, it's easier to miss it when it's airing on a Saturday. So Sunday's more relaxing. But the thing is, and it's what you touched on, and it's actually been a common argument in the YouTube comments as well, and people talking on the live chat, is that time zones, some people don't think about too much. It airing on a Saturday gives people in other time zones more opportunity to watch it at the weekend, rather than it being, on a Monday or that kind of thing. Obviously, the inverse works. If it's airing on a Saturday in the UK, it's in a Friday in America. But Friday night, hopefully, isn't as bad, maybe, than Monday morning for the Australians. So the Saturday seems better. Anyway. Let's go with the audio poll first. So only 14 votes because the audio version's only been out for a day, so can't really help that. 71% said Saturday, 21% said Sunday, and 7% said either. So that roughly is, I think, 1 vote for either, 3 votes for Sunday, and 10 votes for Saturday. So a big majority going for Saturday, which isn't really a shocker. Translating over to YouTube, it's very, very similar. This time, either trumps Sunday a little bit. Either has 15% of the vote, and Sunday has 11%, but Saturday still has a commanding lead with 74% of the 73 votes.
Not surprised. So, not surprised there on the
By the time I put the edit up on screen, I'll wait until the poll's more updated, so it may look different on screen compared to what I've read out, because I want it to be as up to date as possible. But for us right now, Saturday's roughly got a 70-ish%, 75% lead on both polls. So Saturday seems like the more preferred day. And the David Tennant Doctor The 10th Doctor did say, Saturdays, good, I like Saturdays. So, and he also said Sundays are boring. So take notes, Chris Chibnall. Because it is all his fault, as you rightly said, Crispy.
I never stated that.
As you said.
No.
As you said, it's all Chibnall's fault. No, that's what you said.
Strike that from the record.
That's what you said. So we're going to get into talking about the news and our main topic of the video very shortly. Before we do, though, we want to let you know that next week's episode is going to be a bit of a weird one.
Oh, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a weird,
it's going to be in a dream sequence or something. I don't know what's going on. It's like we're going to be in like a fever dream, or we're going to be in, I don't know, what would you call it? Like a place that's like made up of dreams, like a dream.
Oh, I know.
Or something.
A dreamland.
We're going to Dreamland? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 22 of the podcast is going to be us not watching. We'll probably have watched it previously. We're going to watch it in our own time. But we're going to be discussing Doctor Who Dreamland, which we're not even sure everyone even knows about. If you don't know, it was an animated adventure for the 10th Doctor that was done in 6 episodes. One was like 12 minutes and the rest were like 5. So it basically roughly comes together to the length of a standard Doctor Who TV episode now. Yeah. That's what it says on Wikipedia.
I've only ever known it in a 45-minute format. That's crazy.
Really? That's
how
crazy,
I watched it. I never knew it was intention to be serialized.
Yeah, if you want to watch it in the UK, you've got it in, what's it in the Australia? Is it Stan, the streaming service?
Yeah, it's on Stan.
Not to be confused with the Eminem song. But in the UK, I did not think you'd be able to watch this back. I thought it'd be one of those things where it's like, you can't watch this on iPlayer right now. You can watch all 6 episodes. So I will link it in the audio version if the link works. I think it should do, hopefully. If not, it'll be in the YouTube comment section as well. I'll leave a link so you can watch it in the UK. And I suppose if you have a VPN as well, you can watch it in other countries, possibly. But you need a TV license, obviously, in the UK, because BBC's very much like, get your TV license, make sure you go to TV license. You don't want to get fined for £1,000, because that's what happens if you don't have a TV license. It's a crazy time. I know, it's the UK does things, the UK does things, The UK is definitely one of the countries of all time. I love that argument where, like, you don't go to say something's good or bad, you just say it's one of the of all time.
It's one of the,
good little...
Yes, correct.
Because maybe I'm being critical, maybe I'm not. You don't know.
I don't know.
And, you can't hold me accountable for it, because you don't know.
Exactly.
You don't know. But yeah, so you can watch all 6 episodes in the UK. So if you want to watch it ahead of time, if you've never heard of it, and you're like, oh, I'll give this a watch, bear in mind the animation it's odd. It's very odd. The 10th Doctor had 2 animated things, The Infinite Quest and Dreamland. The Infinite Quest came first. That was around the Series 3 era, ironically. And that was animated to look like the Doctor Who Top Trumps game, if you ever played that.
Yeah, and I think it looks better, personally.
Yes, I do as well. But Dreamland is this weird... I'm guessing it's like fully CGI, like 3D animated thing that just looks really odd. It's really strange. I haven't watched it now for about 10, 12 years, so I don't remember much about it. I know it's to do with...
I'm very excited.
I know it's to do with Roswell, but that's about all I remember now.
No, I'm excited.
So we're going to be looking at that and seeing what's going on. So we'll be talking about that next week. So if you want to give us your thoughts on Dreamland, Q&A on Spotify, YouTube comments, as always, you know how this works. Make sure you go and give it a watch. You've got a week to do so if you want to give us your thoughts. We'll try and record it later in the week to give people a chance to give their responses, hopefully.
Yeah.
But if not, get watching it fast so you can get your voices, your opinions in, get your thoughts in, So, should we talk about the news very briefly? We've not got much to talk about this week, so we can give more time to Series 3 because it deserves it. So do you want to leave with the big news thing?
Well, the big news. Well, look, the Hollywood Reporter picked up an article of something we pretty much have all assumed is that Doctor Who Series 14, Shooting Outwards debut season, will be filming in November, and then the rest of the article is just stuff we already know. So that's pretty much the headline, that they're going to be filming in November. It's a very exciting time, and there's not much other substance to the article at all. So
still big if you didn't know it, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not even really confirmed.
Yeah, based on filming, we'd worked it out, but it's nice to know officially in an article like that it is November.
Yeah.
And it is not being pushed back because of David Tennant and Russell T Davies. So can we please stop that stupid argument on Twitter? Thank you.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's... there are unironically people on Twitter going, I can't believe Shooty Gat was filming has been pushed back because of David Tennant. Like...
No, that's not the case. That's not
He's filming Sex Education. Please understand
that. He has other commitments. And the Barbie movie. He just finished on the Barbie movie. Let's not forget
also that. Yeah. Yeah, what a doll, What a doll.
What an absolute doll.
I'm so sorry, that was a terrible joke.
No, that's alright,
I'm trying to be conscious of your internet connection right now, because I keep thinking that you're slipping behind a little bit, and then you're not, but...
I don't know. Who knows what I am?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? No, maybe slightly. I don't know. Editing this will be fun. Which, by the way, that's one thing I've learned. Because we recorded episode 20 live, I did no editing to it. And I think it sounded really good. So I think I need to kind of take a back seat and stop spending 6 hours editing it. Because I think I'm only changing tiny things that nobody notices. So I'm going to give myself back a night a week, I think, sometimes. I think it'd be nice. Unless you swear or say something controversial, then I'm going to have to take it out. Because, you know, you can be a problem,
you want me to swear? You want me to swear? You want me to swear? Here we go. I'm Australian. I'll swear. Oh, Raxacura Kefalpatoris.
He's going to say shrimp.
No,
oh, okay.
I didn't say shrimp.
All right. Shrimp on the Barbie, like the Barbie movie. See what I did there? It was really funny.
Shrimp on the Barbie movie.
To sum up the argument of, you know, David Tennant pushing it back, the way I look at it is he's not creating a gap, he's bridging one.
Beautiful. Well put, Troy.
It's a nice way of looking at it, you know? It's a nice way of looking at it.
Very
Shooty's too busy anyway to film, so why not do something for 60th in between that Shooty, you know, can't do right now? Bring David Tennant back. It's a nice extra way to pay homage to Doctor Who.
It's
and
brilliant.
Get some filming done while Shooty's not available. It's great.
Exactly.
So please stop saying Shooty has been pushed back, because he hasn't. He hasn't.
Stop
okay?
it!
Twitter.
Stop it!
We know that you can't go 2 days without saying something annoying. Please just can it.
Can it. Please.
Can it.
Do we have any other news, Troy? Do we have any other news?
I do. And thankfully this one isn't Twitter-based, so we don't have to moan about Twitter users anymore. We do love you guys, but, you know, just take a deep breath, you know? Watch some Doctor Who. Chill out, you know? Have some fun, you know? But yeah, the other news article is an interesting one I didn't see coming. I don't think anyone saw coming. Doctor Who Am I? A documentary that explores Paul McGann's time as the Doctor in the 1996 TV movie is set for a theatrical release in the UK, as per a Radio Times article put up on Friday. So I'm just going to read a small amount from it. A feature-length documentary, Doctor Who Am I, will be given a cinema release in the UK. It was announced today. The project has been picked up by Kaleidoscope Film Distribution, which plans to launch it on an as-yet unspecified date in October of this year. The new film will examine the making of the 1996 Doctor Who TV movie, which starred Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor and received a decidedly mixed response from fans upon release. The film will see Matthew Jacobs, who wrote the controversial episode, revisit the period in which it was produced and reassess his relationship with the long-running sci-fi franchise. So, possibly links to the centenary with it airing in October, maybe? Could be a thought there, BBC, even though the BBC didn't make it?
I don't know. Are they like actually giving some time to Doctor Who during their centenary celebrations? Is this like part of their bigger plan? I don't know. But regardless, I'm very intrigued to see this documentary. It's not going to be in cinemas in Australia, I don't think. But I'm sure it'll be online. It'll probably be barely in
the UK either, to be honest with you, mate. If the Peter Cushing cinema release is to be judged, because it wasn't really a cinema release per se, it was a cinema screening on a couple of days and then it was gone. Wasn't like it was Morbius where it got released twice despite box office bombs. You know, we've got to stop talking about Morbius every episode.
Always gonna bring Morbius up in this damn show.
Always. It's always Morbin time. It's always. I'm waiting on the Morbius t-shirt to be delivered, and when that comes, I'll wear that on stream, and it'll look great. On the recording, sorry. Excited. I'll just get it out on stream.
Excited.
Just be like, have you seen my t-shirt today? And then boom. So if you hear an episode in the future that starts with, have you seen my t-shirt today? You know what's coming.
Exactly what's happening. You know exactly what's happening.
But that's exciting. I hope it means we're going to get a steelbook for the TV movie around the same time. Because I don't get the steelbooks for classic things, but I've got the whole modern steelbook collection, as you know. I would add the TV movie to start of that. Because the TV movie's in a weird place where it's technically counts as classic Who, but I almost don't look at it like that. It's like a weird middle child.
It's the middle child of Doctor Who. That's a really nice way to put it.
Yeah, he's the middle child. And a very nice looking middle child, you know? We might both be straight men, but Paul McGann's, you know, why do we always just find men to like just discuss over? It's either Andrew Garfield or it's Paul McGann or for you James Corden. You know, there's always someone. There's always someone.
Always someone. Gosh damn.
We just, it's always about us. Honestly, it's always about us.
Yes,
but maybe we should make it about off the topic of this episode. You know, we've talked about a little bit of news. It's been a slower week today, mainly because it's literally been 3 days since we recorded. But we're going to talk about Doctor Who Series 3 for the next half an hour to 40 minutes. We got some answers on both YouTube and Anchor, which, as always, towards the end, we'll have a read through and, you know, discuss listeners' thoughts. But for the next half an hour or so, Crispy, let's talk about Doctor Who Series 3. So I think probably a good point to start this off. How do you rank Series 3 amongst the modern series of Doctor Who, roughly? Where does it sit for you?
Well, with all of them, I'm going to be a little bit controversial here and say that I think that Series 3 might be my favourite Tennant series. Just throwing that out there. Don't know how you feel about that, Troy. I'm seeing your face right now. It's doing interesting things.
What?
I was having a big think about this. Today. And I think Series 4 is like everyone's favorite. It's the fan favorite. I love the chemistry between Donna and David Tennant's Doctor. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But I recently just did a rewatch of Series 3, and I was like, gosh damn, this is fun. And I remember this is probably my most rewatched season as a kid, because I had the DVD for this one, and I was like, you know what? I have a huge soft spot. So for me personally, I love this, and I think Martha is such an underrated companion. And so, yeah, I think it might be my favorite David Tennant series. But if I had to rank it out of all of them, is that what you want, Troy?
I mean, if you can, yeah. I mean, it's probably a bit of a push. If you can't really rank it, then don't worry too much about it. But I want to see where it sat with other series.
I'd probably rank it below... Oh, I don't even know. It might be my favorite series now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I thought my big revelation today was that it's like my favorite Tenet series. Maybe it's one of my favorite series ever. Maybe it's below Series 5 for me. I don't know, Troy. I don't know. I'm struggling here. What are your thoughts?
And therefore below Series 6. Because hang on, you're throwing me off for a loop here. Because, like,
Why?
we've agreed previously, obviously this is a new revelation, so that makes sense now, but I was in my head, I was
Series
thinking,
6 is my
we've agreed
personal
previously
favorite,
the David Tennant
yes,
series
I
get
know.
better as they go on. And you've also said recently Series 6 is your favourite, yeah. So I was like, this is wild. Like, my whole world has been shaken by this revelation.
I just rewatched Series 3, and I have a newfound appreciation for it. And I feel like, as a whole, for sure, maybe Series 4 is just banger after banger after banger after banger. But that Series 3 goodness, I don't know. Maybe it's just because everyone likes Series 4. I'm like, I can be different and quirky. I'll make Series 3 my favorite. I don't know. Troy, I'm having an identity crisis tonight, and I'm freaking out.
Well, I'll tell you what. No other podcast host is sat there recording it in their dressing gown, so you're already being very quirky. I wouldn't worry too much about that. You're all good. You're all good. You've got that unique...
Thank you very much.
That unique characteristic, you know, and I appreciate you for it, and so does everyone else. That's interesting. I mean, my argument was going to be that I personally felt as though I could smell burning.
Are you okay?
I can smell burning in my house.
Are you okay?
I think we have an incinerator. If my mum's burnt my teaching files and not asked me, I'm going to be very upset. That was going to be very important to me.
Oh my gosh.
I better
We're getting
just
this
ask
on
my mum
camera.
real quick if she's...
Can you please keep this in the podcast?
Really? You want to keep this going again? We have an incinerator that we like burn stuff in. We sound dead posh. It's not meant to be like a posh thing. We have a bin that we shove everything in and incinerate it in, and I literally have all my teaching files in a box. And I was like, I want to burn all of these. It'll be such a cathartic thing for me. And I think she's just set a light to it while we're recording. I think she might have done, because I could smell burning, and unless something's going on in the house, we're in trouble. So I don't know.
That's so funny. This is golden.
I kind of want to go and check.
You can go and check.
Should I go and check, and you give us a running commentary, and you can talk about Series 3? You can predict what you... I tell you what, you predict what you think I'm going to say about Series 3, and then when I come back, I'll give you my opinion, then we'll go in the nitty-gritty, yeah?
Okay, that sounds good.
Cool. All right. I'll go check what's being incinerated, because I'll be upset otherwise. All right, go, Crispy. Take the reins.
I'm going. All right. So, here's what I think Troy is going to say. As some of you may know, listeners of the show may know, Smith & Jones was Troy's introduction to the show, so I know he holds that episode in very, very high regard. So he's going to talk about that for quite a bit. But he also loves the Lazarus Experiment. I think that's like his like personal favorite episode, and he's like watched that so many times, and he's like the CGI is still good, which I think it is good. What else do I think? He's gonna love the finale. Absolutely love the finale. All right, now I just don't know what else to freaking say now. Cut this, Troy. Just making noises now. I think it will be his second favorite David Tennant series, and he will rank Series 10 higher than Series 3. He'll rank Flux higher than Series 3. That's about it. That's where I think it might be his third favorite series, fourth favorite series. I reckon his ranking would be like Series 10, Flux, 4, 3, and then the rest. I don't know what comes after that. But yeah, that's my crispy ranking guess. And let's hope that Troy's important papers haven't been burnt. Let's see.
How was the running commentary going while I was gone?
It was good. It was good. I think I nailed your ranking. I think I predicted what you're going to say about this series. So...
And the best bit is I won't know until I look in post and see how similar it is. This is going to be great.
Exactly.
She's burning my school books.
She burned them?
Yeah, we had 2 boxes, one full of old school books that for some reason I hadn't burnt, and one full of university teaching stuff. Well, there's more... Oh, I just caught my chair. There's more school books that we haven't burnt, but we had a box of them. She just shoved them in and set fire to them. I was like, how wants to do that? She's like, oh, well, whatever. She's currently very sad. She's watching a TV show that's apparently on streaming and all the episodes aren't out, and she didn't realise that. She was like trying to find the next few episodes. I was like, I think it's coming out weekly. I don't think you got this. So she was upset. So
wow.
I just comforted her and then came back upstairs.
What a day you're having.
Streaming shows are very important to her. It's a wild old day. It's a wild old day. So Series 3.
Yes,
Should we discuss
give me
Series...
your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts so bad.
You've thrown me off saying you think it's better than Series 4 now. I'm stunned. I'm shaking. I'm crying.
I think I'm having that thought. I mean, it's underrated, but I don't know. Screw it.
Oh, you have to be controversial. Can you not just say something that everyone will like?
Cheesecake.
I don't like cheese. Okay. So moving on. Series 3. Well, the problem is, I don't know if you remember this. This is going to be interesting, but Series 3 was my first series of Doctor Who.
Oh,
that
really?
I'd ever seen. It was where I jumped on with the show. I jumped on with Smith and Jones.
I didn't remember that at all. I didn't think you were going to mention that straight away. Interesting. Interesting.
Okay, you did think that. Okay, great. I thought you were being serious, and I could tell as time passed you were putting on the Sarky voice. Great. Nicely done, buddy. No. So yeah, with it being in my first series, I have that element of nostalgia. You know, it'd been on a couple of series on the TV, and we hadn't really watched it, and then I just saw this trailer for Series 3, and we're like, we should give this a go and watch it, and was like, yeah, we'll watch it. So we watched it together. And I fell in love with it so quickly. I have this vivid memory, and I think I mentioned it to you. It might have been on the Redcast, and not even on Who's There. It might have been in the first episode, but I have this vivid memory in, like, year 1 of school, so I was, like, 7 years old, where they were like, you have to talk about something that you like. And within a couple of weeks of watching Doctor Who, I was quite happy just getting up in front of the class and talking about Doctor Who, and how much I really liked it. Like, it very quickly just kind of got stuck in my heart, and I loved it. And I just really loved Series 3. Like, looking back, there's not an episode I remember disliking. It's kind of like Series 4 in that element, where, like, you know, my favourite episode for a long time, which we'll get to, was the Lazarus Experiment. As a kid, I absolutely loved that episode. I thought it was such a cool concept, and I really liked the kind of... It was almost like a werewolf type thing, a bit like Tooth and Claw, but, like, you know, there was more transformations than just, you know, the werewolf's here and that's it. It was actually more a bit more like a werewolf thing, I felt. You know, where there's several transformations throughout the, in inverted commas, film or TV episode, and I just liked I mean, as a kid, I didn't really understand it, but I liked the argument about mortality and that kind of thing when I've looked back on it now. Like, I still think that's a very heavily underrated episode. But the whole series, I just loved. Human Nature and Family of Blood was really great. Again, as a kid, you don't understand a lot of it as much. But then just it tying into the Series 3 finale, like Yana, the Master. I didn't even know who the Master was, and that was still just beautiful. Yeah, beautiful, exactly. And I don't know, for me, I still feel like I prefer Series 4, but maybe if I watched it again, I go, oh, you know, whatever. But Series 3 is really high up there. And when I did my, like, ranking Doctor Who Modern Series, I think I put 4 and 10 in the S tier, and then 3 and a few others in the A tier. Like, everything was quite high up, but 3 was, like, really close. It was really, really close. What are you doing that YouTuber shocked face for? Did you nail that?
I nailed it. I'm just going to say I nailed it. I think I hit every single point you just mentioned. Oh my god.
What, including Lazarus?
Yeah, the Lazarus in your ranking.
Oh my god. This is what's so funny. That reminds me of, I had a friend who was binging Doctor Who about a year ago, and he was up to Series 9, and he was talking about, you know, Like, what do you think's going to happen with Clara? He's like, Clara's got to be going at some point. And he basically indirectly I was like, what would you have if you had, like, the ending was like, oh, you know, maybe she gets her own TARDIS, she flies off her own adventures, maybe with someone. I was like, what? Who would the companion be? He's like, I don't know, maybe the Viking girl. And then, like, he got to the ending and was like, what is going on? Like, everything I said is coming true. I don't know how he predicted it.
Absolutely. That's impressive. It is impressive.
So clearly it's impressive as you predicting all my stuff there. So should we just cut out my discussion and then just say you were right? And just move on.
No. I think we need that revelation of the little breadcrumb trail.
Yeah, I think probably fifth or fourth favorite series. Probably fourth. I know people get annoyed at me holding Flux so high, but I really like.
Oh
Flux.
my god, I got that too. I got that as well.
Yeah.
I put it 4.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, he's gonna put 10, 4, and Flux in front of 3. That was literally what I said.
Yeah.
Dude, are we friends? Are we friends, Troy?
Are we friends right now? Are you coming over to the UK
right
for my birthday? Are you getting plane tickets?
No, but I stole your dressing gown.
How much are plane tickets? Just wondering.
Oh, let's have a look.
We haven't done this for a few weeks. Speaking of, Paul, how are you doing? How's our original listener, Paul, doing?
The OG
There's probably
listener.
so many people now who don't get that joke. It's so weird that it's been like 21 episodes and there'll be people who don't know who Paul is. He's not real, by the way. Well, he is real. He's actually is. He wasn't real, and then he became real via @PaulWho'sThereFan on Instagram. I think someone made an account for that. But we haven't heard from him for a while. Hope you're okay, Paul. You know, get in touch. We miss you.
All right, how much do you think they are, King?
3K.
No, it's actually cheapest one I can get for tomorrow. Tomorrow?
Yep,
yeah,
tomorrow.
Is $2,164.
Oh, so $1,000. Oh, okay. I'll give you 10 quid towards it. How's that?
All right, I'll send you my dates, mate, and that'll really get me over the line. Thank you.
Great. Oh, honestly, I don't know. I won't be able to say I'm Taylor Swift age anymore either, which is very sad.
Oh,
which not everyone gets immediately, but I kept making that joke throughout being 22, and people were like, Taylor Swift's like 30 something. And I was like, no, Taylor Swift age. Come on, think about it.
I knew what you were talking about.
You know, because like the first episode of the podcast, you had a T-shirt that said Taylor's version on. Where is that T-shirt? Get it back. We miss it.
It's somewhere. It's in there somewhere.
Wear it next week. But I realised I can make it a Pale Waves reference now. Because one of their songs starts with Heather saying I'm 23.
Oh, nice.
So there you go.
No one likes you when you're 23, though.
How old are you?
25 in a month and a bit. So
a month and a bit. Oh, so right. So what you're telling me is I've got a rough year ahead of me.
Oh, thanks, mate. I thought we were friends this episode.
No, you just said 23. No one likes you when you're 23.
That's
and I was like,
reference. That's a reference.
Oh.
To a song.
Oh, no, because from my perspective, you said no one likes you when you're 23, and I was like, yeah, you're older than 23, so I was like, is this from experience? That's why I was looking at it.
Well, no.
What did you think I was saying?
I thought you were saying, look, I've known you that amount of time. It's gonna be rough.
Yeah, I know secrets about
Which
Crispy.
is true.
I know secrets that would shape the universe.
You
Will bring his fan base down to the ground. It's shocking stuff.
It's a lot of trust. It's a lot of trust.
It's a lot of trust. So speaking of, let me tell you exactly what he told me now. Well, I just see one of those things where it's like, oh god, it's like, I think it was in iCarly. I saw like one episode of iCarly as a kid where like they recorded like a help message and it was the fourth word of every of the message they said, and if you just listen to every fourth word, it was like a secret message. I just secretly out you like that every fifth word, guys. Just put every fifth word together now and see what sense it makes. It'll be terrible.
It'll be absolutely terrible. Horrifying.
It will be. Anyway, so yeah, Series 3 I rank about as my fourth favourite series, I would say. I think a good place to start with this series is Martha. Because we talked about this a little bit before. But what do you think about Martha as a companion, how she was handled, how she was portrayed, all that stuff?
I love Martha Jones. She's fantastic. Love. I think that her, like, in the the finale, Last of the Time Lords, is one of my favorite companion, like, written episodes ever. Because that is so Martha Jones. She's so strong, and I loved her exit. I love that she was like, you know what, I need to call it quits. The one thing I feel like you and I complain about, and a lot of the Doctor Who community weren't really the biggest fan of, was that she was like pining over the Doctor, and the Doctor was still pining over Rose. Like, we didn't necessarily need that for the series. Me sweet Rose. But yeah, I think that Martha's incredible. I think she's one of the best modern companions ever, and wish we had more time with her. We do get a little bit more time with her in Series 4, but I think she's just an incredible companion, and I like what she did. What do you think, Troy?
I think it's fantastic. And talking about the pining over the Doctor thing, I'm just going to check something very quickly, because I have made this argument before. I'm literally going to load up BBC iPlayer while we're recording. It won't come up in the podcast, so I can literally watch this while I'm talking to you. But in Smith and Jones, we made this discussion before where she kind of goes, I only go for humans, and he's like, good. And then, like, the next episode, she's like, oh, this bed's a bit tight. We're going to have a bit of a squeeze here. Wow, it's really loud in my ears. I think she pulls a face when he says good, and that says it all.
In Smith and Jones?
Yeah, here we go. I just want to have a look. She says, for the record, I'm not remotely interested. I only go for humans.
Yeah.
And then he says good and walks off. And let me just check her face. Oh, yeah, no, she's lying. She pulls that face. She looks down and she's
like,
lying.
Oh,
of course.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But for David Tennant, I would.
It's like one of those people when, like, you text your friend, and you're like, oh, I like you, do you want to go on a date? And then they go, no, and you go, sorry, my friend texted. It was my friend using my phone. It's like same kind of energy.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I was busy in dreamland. I was in dreamland when I was talking to
busy
you.
In dreamland. No, it's next week, mate. Next week.
Next week. All right, sorry. But yeah, I think, making him kiss her. If David Tennant kissed you, you would be kind of a bit hung up on that, probably. Why do we just keep talking about I think this is just like our gay awakening, this podcast. Good grief.
Look.
No,
whatever.
Genuinely though, I feel like, the Doctor is this big, amazing alien guy that's just kind of swept you off your feet and kissed you. I like how the whole episode I've just been holding this laser screwdriver.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
It's great, yeah. Just pop it up and then just point it at you, and then whenever you bore me, I'm just going to turn the lights on and laser you, which is very often. Just speed up your arguments. No, sorry, that's too mean. I'm so sorry. But yeah, like I don't really blame her for the circumstances she was in, becoming so attached to him so quickly. I think it would have worked better had he not been talking about Rose so much. It would have been almost nicer of a narrative if she kind of was dropping these hints and he wasn't really picking up on them, but not because he was hung up on Rose, because he didn't really notice it, because in his head he was still thinking about Rose, but not vocalizing it. And they had this discussion at the end where he was like, I can't think about that, I already got attached to Rose, that kind of thing. Just the way it was done, I think, was a little bit, but it did give her a great moment at the end of Last of the Time Lords, which I never understood till I was much older. Like, there was just lots of talking about getting out, and I didn't get it as a kid. I didn't understand it. I was like 7 years old. I did not clock it.
That does make a lot of sense. I watched it when I was a little bit older, and watching it
and I've seen it like a few times when I was older, but because the first time I'd seen it young, I didn't really clock it. I didn't really clock it for ages, and then I think it was when I did the big long rewatch in like 2020. I probably I went, I see what, like, just like kind of like the pin dropping where you're like, you just, oh, right, I see now, I see what you're saying. But it was a really cool little thing about, this is me getting out, and you can see that it hits the Doctor, and he's like, yeah, I messed up here. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That wasn't even an intended 10th Doctor joke, but that works really well. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that at all.
Very good.
So let's move on to favourite episode. What would you rank as your favourite episode in Series 3? Or episodes, if it's a two-parter.
That's the thing.
Or three-parter.
As like I mentioned to you, I recently did a rewatch of this, and one episode that took me by surprise, and we mentioned this in our underrated episodes, was Gridlock. I had so much fun with Gridlock.
Gridlock is so good.
I really liked it, even from like an aesthetic point of view, like the minimal sets. And I don't know, it's just a really, really well-contained story, and it's got that little bit of commentary on, like, if there is a crisis, the government will just kind of shove everyone in there in this endless loop to kind of protect them. What if there was a pandemic?
Only got political with Jodie Whittaker, guys. Jodie Whittaker was the only reason Doctor Who got political. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Russell T would now. Thank God Russell T's back, because Doctor Who's not going to be political anymore.
Oh yeah,
thank
exactly.
goodness.
Russell T Davies would never make Doctor Who political.
My goodness,
like the show's been political since since before 2005. What am I on about?
I'm going to say 1963, mate.
I'm going to say that, as soon as it was something in the live chat last week, wasn't it? As soon as that police box landed in the junkyard, it all just went downhill.
Too political.
Honestly.
Too political for me.
But
Police?
and it's
Are you
another
serious?
case like New Earth, and it's funny because they link New Earth and Gridlock, where it brings back a character you didn't need to see again, but they were quite cool with Novice Haim. She was just a very random inclusion, but it was nice to have her in it. So that was good, but it also was a nice connection to New Earth, I guess, because of the face of Bo. It was nice to kind of see that link again.
That play out.
But I just love the warning, and I love how that links to Utopia, because that is still one of the best moments, like, reveals in Doctor Who history. Just that
one of the best freaking
not
finales
alone,
ever.
Yana. It's like, it's so good. Which, speaking of the Master, like, how well handled was that with Derek Jacobi and with John Sim?
It was unreal. That was unreal. It was freaking...
Both of them are so good.
One of the coolest things. Yeah. And a lot of people are like, oh, I wish we had more time with Derek Jacobi. But I
was
mean,
about to say
far
that.
Out. Yeah. But I mean, far out. Like, he definitely made an impression.
It leaves you wanting more. Yeah. Because that's the thing with the whole kind of human form, is that they're nothing like their Time Lord version. So, like, you're not seeing the Derek Jacobi's Master for the episode. You're seeing Professor Yana, and then you're seeing the Derek Jacobi's Master for like 5 minutes, and then he's gone. And don't get me wrong, John Sim's a great trade-off. He's phenomenal. Like, his portrayal of the Master, like, whether you like Sacha Dhawan's Master or not, whatever, like, he is the base plate for Sacha Dhawan's Master without any shadow of a doubt. Like, that kind of manic energy. Even though I prefer Sacha ever so slightly because he is that little bit more manic. But I love all three. It's like I've said before, it's like when you have like three things you just love very, very much, and you have to try and rank them, like, gun to your head. Like, I love John Sim, I love Missy, I love Sacha Dhawan. I can't rank Jacobi amongst them, Jacobi, because there's just not enough chance to do so.
We had 4 minutes with him.
It's almost harder. It's like what I said about it's harder to rank Chris Eccleston among the other modern Doctors because he's had a third of the time compared to the rest of them. Like, you know, that does play a part. If he'd had a 3-series arc, how would he have looked? You know, but both of the Masters in that are just phenomenal, and I love that we get a 3-parter. Russell T Davies makes it adamant that it wasn't a 3-parter, but he's lying, he's wrong. I'm sorry, Russell T Davies, you're wrong on this. Just, you know, even the best people are wrong sometimes.
Has he said that it's not a 3-parter?
Apparently, he went on the record at one point to say that he hasn't done a 3-parter. I swear he said that somewhere. Like, he doesn't count Turn Left as one either. Like, leading into Stolen Earth and Journey's End, which you could forgive a little bit.
Could argue.
If it sets up, if it links and sets up the next 2 episodes, it kind of is a 2-part. Like, it's the same as Utopia. Yeah. Like, the actual main premise of the episode isn't quite linked. It does tie in. Like, because with that, it's, you know, what happens to people who go to Utopia, they become the Toclophane, whereas in Turn Left, we get to see what Rose has been doing and how that links to the next ones. It's almost like a prequel type thing. Like, you didn't need it to complete the story, but it adds to it. Therefore, I see both of those as, like, 3-parters. And if Russell says otherwise, then, you know, he can go screw off to Clom. Go to Clom, Ron.
Go to Clom.
Ron. Who's Ron? It's not Ron.
I don't know who Ron is.
I like how I changed his name for the sake of making a rhyme, just like off the top of my head.
Go to Clom, Ron.
Yeah, he's Ron T. Davies now. You know?
Ron T. Davies.
Ron T. Davies. And as we said earlier, his name is Television. His middle name's Television, so he's Ron Television Davies.
Ron Television Davies. Wow, we're just
what a
changing
great
him up. Changing it up a little bit.
Okay.
No, very good.
So, Gridlock is your favourite episode in Series 3, then?
Yeah, I'm gonna say underdog pick. I think I mean, it's got Blink in there, and I freaking love Blink so much. I love
Blink too.
But I think, you know what? I'm quirky and different. I'm wearing my dressing gown. I'm gonna have to say
again, yeah.
I'm gonna have to say Gridlock. I rewatching that, I really had a new appreciation for that episode. What about you, Troy? I mean, you like Smith and Jones and Lazarus Experiment. Like, you've got those two.
I think probably Human Nature, Family of Blood, which I know is a very, very common argument. That 2-parter is just something else. And for the record, we're aware that there's kind of discussions towards how the race elements were handled. In particular, you know, the 10th Doctor saying to Joan at the end, you know, come with me, despite some of the racist attitudes. There's a whole debate there, but we are 2 straight white men. We're probably not the best people to give perspective on this, so we're just kind of acknowledge that there is a discourse, but not touch it. Because it's just better. I
think that's appropriate. I think that's very appropriate. There's people who are better informed if you want to kind of know more about it. But the point is, the episodes are just phenomenal. I love the element of, you know, the Doctor isn't himself. It's so strange that it's David Tennant not being the Doctor, he's being John Smith. But especially in the second part, that breakdown of him realizing he's not who he is and what could have been. The Family of Blood as villains are just really interesting. Not like my favorite villains, but they're just a really interesting concept. And I love the whole element to it. I love that. You know, that it was a story that Paul Cornell wrote in, like, the Wilderness years that got adapted into a TV story. Like, Russell Davies reached out and was like, can you make this a TV thing? That's true. Like, it was written. I never knew.
Was it actually written? I'm going to look this up.
Oh, my gosh.
Cornell.
I had
Have
no
you not
idea.
been watching? Have you not been watching the Clever Films documentary about the 10th Doctor? 'Cause he touched on this in that video. You should watch it.
I haven't. I have not seen that video yet.
Here we go. The Family of Blood, Human Nature and Family of Blood is a two-part story written by Paul Cornell, adapted from his Doctor Who novel Human Nature, published in 1995, co-plotted with Kate Orman. He wrote it in 1995. He wrote it before the TV movie.
That is one of the coolest fun facts I have ever heard.
12 years it took to go from page to screen. Look at that. Isn't that amazing?
That's so cool. That's so cool.
And now your life will never be the same. It's crazy.
No.
So yeah, that's probably my favourite. What would you say, not to go too much into negatives, what would you say is your least favourite episode of the series, if you had to pick one? Or do you not have one?
No, I definitely have one. Can you guess it?
Shakespeare Code?
No.
42.
It's not. Nope.
Don't say Lazarus. Don't you say Lazarus. Please don't.
I'm not. It's
Okay,
the Dalek
good.
in Manhattan.
Wait, hang on, what is it
in
then?
Manhattan two-parter. Daleks in Manhattan two-parter.
That
Probably
one
my-
gets a lot of criticism, but I love it.
It's my least favorite, like, Dalek story, I think. I don't know. I just
Really?
I never connected with that story. I don't know. As a kid, I was kind of, like, freaked out by the pig people.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I just haven't really gone back to it. So,
That surprises me. I know it's not like one of the most loved stories, but like, I don't know, for me personally, I love the concept of, these Daleks are these undeniable, unquestionable machines of hate. What happens if something changed that, What happens if we actually did get to see a Dalek questioning what they're doing? Which we see a little bit occasionally, like from Dalek Khan in The Stolen Earth. Like, we get the odd dashing of a Dalek saying, not doing this. But it's such an interesting argument with Dalek Sex Hybrid. The idea of, we're going to make this new species of Daleks, look what being these killing machines has taken us. Look where it's taken us. The last four of us, we're nearly extinct. Our hatred is killing us off. We need to do something different. I love that they acknowledge it and also show that, while there are pure Daleks involved, nothing like that would ever happen. If they were all hybrids, if they'd all converted to hybrids, you imagine what could have happened. But because you've got those pure Daleks fueling that hate, it presents an interesting problem that it also answers. This would never work because the Daleks would never allow it. Not all of them, anyway.
no, I agree. I agree. There are definitely
me.
good themes there. There are definitely good themes, and there's, excellent discussions to be had from it. But just in comparison,
And Andrew
I just think
Garfield.
It's got Andrew Garfield in it. It definitely has.
It has got Andrew Garfield.
Going. But I don't know. I never. I don't know. Maybe it's worth another rewatch, but I don't know. It's not my
I like the
favorite.
music
Not
as
my
well.
favorite.
There's a
music in
particular
that-
piece of music when they're in the Hooverville. It's kind of like this kind of depressing, kind of like Depression era music that's playing in the middle of the town. I couldn't recreate it very well off the top of my head, so I'm not going to try to. But like, there's just a good atmosphere to the episodes, and I also really like Tallulah's song "You Put the Devil in Me." Like, that's just a catchy tune.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dun
How she opens it.
dun 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 dun. See, I can do that one. I just love that. So that really stands out to me. It's not my favorite, but it's high up. So I'm like, there's definitely some discourse between your hosts, ladies and gentlemen. There's some discourse.
Wow, we got beef.
I really expect you to either say Shakespeare or 42. I know a lot of people don't like Shakespeare. Shakespeare Code is a bit of a more dull episode.
That was fun.
I know the writer is not exactly a very loved person in the community because he's come out and said some very, very not nice things about people, and we're gonna, not touching it too much because we're not gonna give him the attention. So I know that often can harm people's appreciation of episodes. It very much comes down to whether you can separate the artist from the art. Like that's a discussion. It's very personal whether you can. But like just separating that completely, it's a good episode. It's just not one of my favorites in the series. But 42, I felt like was the one that we get, Chris Chibnall's first story, and it wasn't very good. But I always liked 42. Never loved it.
Yeah, no, I think it's.
But I
think
always
it's
thought it was an
cool.
interesting concept. This ship's going to hit the sun in 42 minutes. Like it's an actual real time Doctor Who episode. That's a really
we
decent
gotta
concept.
Go. Yeah, it's cool.
It's so cool. And I also like the idea of the Doctor being scared. You don't see that very often.
No, you
But
don't.
like he's genuinely terrifying, and I also a little kind of hidden, almost underappreciated moment is him like trying to very, very quickly explain regeneration to Martha, and she's like, "No, don't matter. We're gonna help you. We're gonna help you." Like, it's something you don't
that's
catch, I
right,
think, sometimes
yeah.
on a rewatch, because I didn't catch it immediately. I think it was probably because it was my first series. I didn't understand the concept properly.
What
Like,
was
he's like-
regeneration? Yeah.
He's like, something's going to happen. If I'm dying, blah, 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 I'll check. And she go, no, don't talk like that. And I was like, oh, he's like very quickly trying to explain it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
That's so
And then
cool.
he just doesn't bother to explain it again for a little bit afterwards, I guess. He
Nah.
just doesn't mention it.
By the way.
Actually, yeah, because he only mentions it once the Master does it. And, like, they talk about it in The Sound of Drums, don't they? Like, they explain that he's a Time Lord, he can change his face. She's like, you what?
Oh, so
They
he's
clearly
immortal.
never actually had
Great.
that conversation. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, what? It could be anyone. Like, he's the Prime Minister. Which also is just a great... I just love that he was the Prime Minister. That was such a cool little, like,
So
spin.
great.
And another great little Rusty Davies plot setup. With, like, you know, as early as The Runaway Bride, orders from Mr. Saxon, fire at will.
Brilliant.
The tank, and then seeing it pop up bits like that. I love
then, of
the
course,
stuff like
yeah.
that. Like, Bad Wolf
Ends
was
up being
in
the
your
Prime
face.
Minister. Yeah.
You know, like, Bad Wolf is a great arc. Bad Wolf is fantastic, don't get me wrong. But Vote Saxon was so much more subtle. You did get the mentions of Mr. Saxon, like, in the thing, but I think it was more subtly done. And there was also the posters on walls in places that you could easily miss. Like,
And
he was trying to be a
Torchwood,
bit more
too.
hidden with it. Yeah, and Torchwood. Torchwood was
So-
more subtle as well. But you did get
So
the mentions
cool.
again. I think he got better at refining it as he went on. And then Series 4, I mean, it was early on, but the Atmos stuff as well. You know, like, even little bits like the Taxi and Partners in Crime having an Atmos sticker on it. Like he
Very
got really
cool.
good at those little details. They were fantastic. Okay, so, you know, we've talked about least favorite episodes, characters. Like, how would you, like, kind of sum up your thoughts on Series 3? Like, what do you love about it? What do you dislike? How would you sum it up, basically?
I think it's an incredibly strong series, and some of Russell's best work. I think it has one of the strongest finales out of the entire run. I think
That's a hot take.
Well, I love it.
Should we discuss that very briefly, actually? Because
Why?
that gets... Well, that's the Time Lords. People like shun it because of the whole, you know,
Because if you
magic button.
turn into
He becomes a
Space
super
Jesus-
space god to fix the
Yeah.
problem. Like, which I get.
I think they needed to spend more time explaining how the heck that works. But I like the idea
Yes.
of how the master's like been psychically using the what is the network called? The
Archangel Network.
Thank you. How he's been using that to manipulate everyone, and how that like they utilize that against him. I think that's a brilliant concept. But how that magically de-ages the Doctor, I don't know. But it's
I think
a
it's just
freaking
one
cool
of those.
moment.
Yeah, it's one of it's very rare moments where Russell probably rose himself into a corner very slightly.
Yeah, he's like,
He'd set this big world-ending threat, and he was like, "Okay, how do I get us out of this now?
How do
you
I
know,
undo this?
A year has passed. Loads of people are dead. There's flying orbs. I know. I'll just undo everything. You know,
undo it, reset.
But
I don't know. But in all fairness, like, you know, some people aren't necessarily the biggest fan of the second part of the Stolen. What's the second one called? Stolen Earth in
Journey's
Series 4.
End.
Yeah. So have you heard the people are not the fan of that one?
Why?
Just they don't like what they did with Donna, the Dr. Donna thing, and how that was a bit very
What?
convenient. And I'm like, oh, okay,
I mean,
whatever.
that's
So I
another
don't know,
case.
people-
It is another
people-
case of, you know, what do I do to solve the problem? But that one worked better. That fit better. I liked
I
that.
think I 100% agree that worked better. But I just feel like in the Doctor Who community, I always feel like the second part of a 2-part finale will always be criticized more. That's the argument I'm trying to make.
What does Doomsday get criticised for then?
Being too sad.
That's very true. That's
Too
very, very true.
sad, man.
I like that. That's a good point. It's a good point. It's a good point.
But I
and
don't know.
Series 1's 2-parter is bad because Jackie insinuates that she, you know, got a truck because she had a relationship with some bloke.
Wow, I forgot about that. Thank you for bringing that
No,
up.
I was trying to think of something really quickly. He's like, what was it, Harold or something? Or Howard owes me a favour.
can't
And
remember.
she's like, don't ask. And I was like, all right.
All
Go
right,
I don't want to know.
Jackie. Shut
Don't
up.
want to know. God, Jackie. There's a strange man
yeah.
in my bedroom.
Stop.
But yeah, so to sum up, yeah, Series 3 is fantastic. Definitely, I want to say underrated, but I feel like more people are appreciating it, you know, and especially for Martha. Definitely a companion that I would have liked to have seen more of, but it continues to back the argument that some of the best companions only had one series.
Yeah.
I think she was really, really well used. I'm glad that she got to pop up again a few times in Series 4. I think that was a really good thing to a character, that she didn't just have a stint in the TARDIS, she had a stint and then got to come back, which not every companion gets. You know, Amy and Rory didn't really get that. Clara didn't really get that. I mean, little scenes in the Doctor's last episodes don't count for me. Like, I mean, probably
No,
being
I
part
agree.
of the story.
I 100% agree.
Which you know might happen in the centenary with Graham for Jodie, which would be a nice little thing, but it might only be a touching cameo as well. I think honestly. So realistically, like a character coming back was only really Rusty Davies' era. Like River Songs doesn't really count because she wasn't an in-series companion for like a whole series and then popped up again.
Recurring.
Martha's kind of unique in that, really.
That's
she got
a really
to pop up
good
again
point.
in several stories.
I don't know if that's happened.
Kind of, but
yeah.
Rose was kind of like the ongoing plot of Series 4, but only really showed up by turn left, then she was part of the finale, whereas Martha got to come back for the Sontaran two-parter and the Doctor's Daughter, and then also played a part in the Stolen Earth Journey's End as well. So I liked that she kind of is a unique companion in that sense then.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
And was definitely planned out. Didn't just think of it on the fly. So I think it's a good point to sum up our thoughts. So should we very quickly go through some listener thoughts? We've been recording for about an hour, but maybe we've cut some stuff out with Australian internet and things being set on fire outside my house. Like it's been a wild old time.
Wild old
time. So
what have
we haven't got many
saying?
responses, we said earlier, because it's only been a day or so since we recorded the episode. But we've got a few comments on Anchor, so we're going to read them out. Felicia, this is our regular listeners at this point. We have like a series of regular listeners on the audio platforms who always give comments. It's very, very cool. But remember, if you want to give your thoughts, Spotify Q&A is a good place. If anyone new wants to slide in and give your thoughts, please do so. Felicia says, it was 50-50 because it has lots of good episodes like Daleks in Manhattan and 42. Haha, she's against you. I like Felicia. She's got good opinions. Well, they've got good opinions.
I shake my head,
but lots
Felicia.
of great episodes such as Blink, Utopia, and Sound of Drums. So the classic Daleks in Manhattan 42 is good, but Blink, Utopia, etc. is great, but not saying bad. So maybe not a bad episode in Series 3, which I would agree with. I would honestly agree with. Lazarus Experiment is the best episode. No. I still always hold a special place in my heart. That and Tooth and Claw were like 2 episodes as a kid I watched over and over again. Loved them both. Arthur Botley, although the Shakespeare Code hasn't aged well, for reasons we talked about earlier, I think we need to bring back the Rusty Davies era British historical figures episodes, because maybe one with Stephen Hawking would work really well. That's interesting, Stephen Hawking.
It's very recent, suppose.
Is he really a historical figure?
Well, by all definite, what makes a historical figure? One could argue that he is a historical figure.
He's become one now that he's passed away. Yeah, possibly. I guess with it being so soon, I didn't think about it so much. But I agree. I like the historical figure kind of thing. And that has popped up in episodes since. But I think, like with Spyfall, Ada Lovelace was just kind of there. It wasn't about her. She was just more of a cameo. No. But Haunting of Villa Diodati was really good for that because it was about Percy Bysshe Shelley. And I really liked that. Especially as a kid who knew Ozymandias by heart when he was younger. Recited it for poetry competitions and stuff. So I was like, oh.
Look at you go.
Oh, there was one my mum got me to it was like, you should read this poem out, and then I just knew it off by heart for a very long time. It's very funny. I couldn't do it now. But I can probably remember bits of it. Sunken in the Desert, stuff like that, Shattered Visage Lies. I remember some bits. Anyway.
Let's go.
Yeah. Lewis Sutton Universe said, love it, a great series, though Martha should have stayed for another series. I'm not really a fan of the single series companion trend. Oh, no, never mind then. Oh. Well, it's true. The argument we make is that some of the better ones had single series. It doesn't mean they shouldn't have had more series. So our arguments can go hand in hand. That's how we're getting out of that one. Our arguments can go hand in hand.
You did well.
Good point.
You did very well there, Troy.
Agreed. See, I'm good at twisting the narrative. I should work in newspapers. I'm not doing that. Micah Olsen has said, Martha is the most underrated companion outside Nardole and Wilf. Series 3 is great, behind Series 4, 10 and 5. This is on YouTube, by the way. We've got 2 YouTube comments we're going to read out. So, is Wilf underrated, per se? I'm not sure if I'd say Wilf's underrated, especially not since Bernard Cribbins' passing. Everyone's coming out in support of Wilf, but I feel like even before he passed, Wilf was kind of
I think is a bit of a fan favourite.
Yeah, like less featured, but more fan favourite. But a good point nonetheless that Martha is underrated, especially,
I think
Nardole
Martha
is very
underrated.
Marmite. I feel like some people will love Nardole and some people will hate Nardole with a burning
so
passion.
True.
But I liked him.
I love him so much.
I honestly really did like him. I thought he was great. But yeah, I agree. Martha definitely underrated. What do you think? Do you think Martha's underrated? Or would you argue that another companion is more underrated?
Well, I just think that because the whole Rose plot, there was the love interest, and she got 2 series, and so it's very, very identifiable, that character.
Yeah,
and then Donna comes
Martha.
in and absolutely steals the show. Donna absolutely comes in and steals it. So I feel like Martha was kind of in that awkward ground, but I feel like there's a lot of respect there for Martha. So by definition of the Davies era and of the whole modern era of Doctor Who, she's probably one of the most underrated companions.
Yeah, like as companions go, like comparing how Rose started to how Martha started. Martha was more confident, more capable.
Yeah.
And it was really, really cool that she got. I don't know. I just really liked how her character was written, but just I felt like a lot of that was undermined because he was like a Rose, and I know Rose was like the relatable the companion. She was the British teenager.
Yeah.
Who didn't really have much going on in her life. She's just trying to get by, that kind of thing.
Had a
It's a
hit
hugely
single.
relatable story. Yeah. Wait, what?
Day and Night.
Oh,
Is that her song?
Oh, Billy Piper. I meant
Billy Piper?
Yeah. Thanks for putting that song back in my head.
I know. I'm sorry. It played the other day on one of the music channels here, and I was like,
Really?
No, what? Yeah. I was like, what the heck?
That song. I love the day. I love the night. Oh, it's a great song. It's great. Go listen to that, Billy Piper. Classic noughties tune. But yeah, so like Martha, I think she probably is the most underrated companion, Martha. I wouldn't argue Nardole is more underrated because I'm not sure if he's like one of the best companions because he's just more of a comic relief, but he's really good. I'm not discounting him, but I think as actual main series companions go, Martha's probably the most underrated, but is getting more attention now.
Definitely.
So maybe not much longer. I don't know. But then our final comment comes from YouTube user Matt Wolverine, who says, in my opinion, Series 3 is better than Series 2 because it has a great introduction to Martha, and the worst episode is the Lazarus Experiment. I don't know if I want to read the rest of this comment now. And the best episodes are the Human Nature Family of Blood two-parter because it has the best David Tennant performance, and that is the point when it started to dawn on him that David Tennant was his favourite Doctor of all time, which rephrased it for, reading out.
Nice.
I'm basically saying your comment was very badly worded. I'm being rude to you now. It's so brutal. Sorry, Matt. I love you really. It's just a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke, okay? I'm a stickler for OCD and grammar and stuff, so let's stop. Anyway, point being, you're right. Series 3 is better than Series 2 for sure. And, until recently we agreed they got better as they went on, but apparently we don't agree on that anymore.
I'm changing
Quirky
it up.
boy.
I'm changing it up. Quirky.
But yeah, I think Series 3 is better than Series 2. Human Nature Family of Blood, I agree, great. And yeah, it's that performance, especially in the last 10, 15 minutes, of him realising, what his life doesn't mean anything. He's got to become the Doctor. What could be? Like, David Tennant owns that and kills that. Like, it's fantastic.
Incredible. It's one of his best performances in the whole show, I reckon.
Yeah.
That
it's
two-parter.
almost surprising that that's the point where it dawned on Matt that David was his favourite Doctor of all time. Like, it took that long. But I can see why that moment would do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if you hadn't already been convinced that's a great moment for you to go, you know what? That's it. That's a great moment. So agreed. Good comments. We've got some good user comments today, have we not, Crispy? Got some good comments.
Excellent user comments.
Excellent. So, that, I believe, is a good point to wrap up. We should hopefully have about an hour's runtime. Doesn't matter either way. We got an hour and 25 out of last week. What a bumper episode that was.
Yeah.
Good grief.
It's a lot. Woo.
Yeah. Well, when the live stream, like we said on the time, there's less need to focus it to a certain hour based on editing. But I'm going to try and edit this less. I'm going to have less time. I mean, I'm hoping you get this sent to me soon enough I can do it tonight. But either way, I haven't got tons of time to edit this anyway. So I might I'll have to cut out our little gaps and stuff. But apart from that, I might leave it quite natural and just see how it sounds.
Leave
go
it
from
natural.
There,
leave it
natural, baby.
Leave it.
It all depends
human
on the
natural.
Discord,
Human natural.
Yeah, human natural. Great. Also, I see what you did. That was very clever.
I was really trying there.
Because Australian internet's not been great today, so if there's a huge gap between us speaking constantly, I may have to do more. But we'll see. Hopefully, I should be okay. Pray for me, please. Thank you. But to wrap up, you know what we always do now, Crispy. What are your closing comments?
My closing comments are: I'm ending this with a fun fact.
Oh boy.
Here we go. Did you know?
No, I didn't.
That the Lazarus Experiment, the 6th episode in the series, was actually the 4th one they filmed.
Oh.
Yeah, for the series.
First one they filmed?
The 4th one they filmed.
Oh, 4th one.
Yeah, it's not that crazy. Not that
I like
crazy.
how I overrode it because I thought you were going to say 200th episode, and I was like, I swear it was around then, but no, it wasn't. I'm wrong. 200th story.
It might be. I don't know.
I swear there was a fun fact about that episode, and I was like, I thought I knew it all. Oh, God, I think I know everything, honestly. I'm so sorry. But wait, so it was episode 6, but it was the 4th episode they filmed.
Yep, correct. And Blink was the 10th episode of the series, but it was the 6th episode they filmed. So
I would have laughed so much
around.
if you just counted that up and gone, it was the 10th episode and it was the 10th episode they filmed.
The 10th episode they filmed.
That would have been great. That would have been so funny. Thank thanks for your fun fact, Crispy. Really appreciate it.
I'm glad. Yeah, that's my closing
thank you
thought.
to everyone for watching and listening. It's been a good
Thank you.
episode discussing Series 3. So next week we'll be talking about Doctor Who Dreamland. So like I said, I'll leave a link in the YouTube description, and also if it works on the audio platform, so you can click it and go and watch it in the UK or elsewhere if there's other ways you can watch it other places, VPNs and all that. So you can get watching and see what you think of the episode. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. We greatly appreciate it, and we will see you all next week in episode 22 of Who's There, Doctor Who podcast, where we discuss Doctor Who Dreamland. Make sure you answer the Spotify poll and Q&A down below. And remember, the poll will go up on YouTube. I don't know whether to put it up at the same time that the episode goes live or just slightly after. I don't know how we should do that. Maybe like an hour or two after the episode goes up. Yeah, give it a bit of time. But yeah, so YouTube listeners, look out. The poll will go up not long after the episode goes out, and you can vote on it there. So get voting, get answering, all that stuff. Maybe we should do a YouTube comment as well, like a community post saying, what do you think of Doctor Who Dreamland? As well to get more response. Or maybe we should keep that exclusive to Spotify. What do we do? What do you think? We don't want to leave the Spotify users in the dirt now, man. You know, YouTube can't steal everything from them.
We've got too many options now. It's hard to think.
We've got too many options. We'll work it out. But either way, thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you all next week in episode 22. So until then, look after yourselves, everyone. Enjoy Doctor Who. Watch lots of it all week, and we'll see you all next week. See you later.
Alonzi, baby.
Alonzi.